Hello Internet, so nice to see you. Believe it or not, I've been asked, Tommaso, can you give us a mental, crazy idea to write music that actually works? Why? Guys, I can give you hundreds of crazy ideas, okay? So today we see an idea that I've explained to some of my more advanced students, and those students gave a name to this idea, okay? And they call it lick sex. Now, this name is of course full of unfortunate implications, okay? But in this case, this name fits the idea perfectly to a T. Okay, we're gonna see why, okay? And not only that, it gives great result. The idea is that we're gonna take two licks, we're gonna make them do their own things together, okay? And then we're gonna get a new lick out of that. And it's done in a strange way, and you're gonna see, it's great. And when I first encountered this idea, when I first came up with this idea, I didn't think it would work, but when I tried it, it actually works really well. So let's go and see what this is all about. But remember, that's a crazy idea, okay? So if you see it at first and like, whoa, okay, yeah, that's to be expected. Let's go and see it. Next procedure is called alternating. You pick two different licks. You play the first note of the first, and then the first note of the second, then the second note of the first, and the second note of the second. So you alternate between those two licks. Okay, picking one note from one and one note from the other, and you keep going on until you get to the end. So you need two licks that are pretty much the same length, okay? Basically, you take two licks and get them to have lick sex. And before you start saying, Thomas, this is so clickbait, this is, okay, lick sex. No, this is technically sex, okay? I mean, this procedure was actually inspired by chromosomic recombination in DNA under sexual reproduction. I had to write this one down. I have a piece of paper in front of me. The idea sounds interesting. How does it work? Well, let's see. I'm taking my pentascale and my C major arpeggio. Okay, the pentascale is in red. The C major arpeggio is in blue. So if you play only the red notes, that's the pentascale. Okay, in a slightly different fingering, but it's that. If you play only the blue notes, that's the arpeggio. This is where I have to sight read them really slow because those licks are a bit harder to play. It doesn't sound like a scale anymore. It doesn't sound like an arpeggio anymore. Okay. It's totally a mix of the two. But I don't think it's a great lick. I don't think it's a great lick. And then at this point, that's where comes the next step. Why it's not a great lick? Because those two licks I just take, they're both descending licks. Okay, so the pentascale goes down, the arpeggio goes down. They are too much of the same. Okay. In a sense, we are inbreeding those licks. Okay, it's too much of the same. It doesn't work. Some of you got that, okay? If I see one person laughing, that's a victory. with my kinds of nerdy joke, if I see one person laughing, that's a victory. Okay, good. So what we can do? Well, we can put some genetic variation in that. Okay, so for instance, I could reverse the direction of the arpeggio. So the pentascale still goes down, but the arpeggio now goes up. Okay, so again, if you play just the red notes, you have the pentascale going down. If you play the blue note, you have the C arpeggio going up, okay? What happens? Oh, that's way more interesting. Okay, especially the ending of this lick. Okay, it's particularly interesting to me. The last 5 notes. That sounds a lot like Eric Johnson, if you want. There is definitely something that I would not have played on my own. And probably something that you would not have played on your own. What if we take our blues lick? Our blues lick, I remind you, it's in A, so it's typically used on an A 7th chord. And our C major arpeggio, which is definitely not in A, it's in C. So you're mixing even things of two different keys here. I mean, okay, they are related keys, the notes are pretty much the same and whatever, but will this work? The first note is a note of the arpeggio. This is important, as you'll see later. Okay, so I think it works. I think it works pretty well. For not knowing what we're doing, for trying a random coupling of licks here, I think it sounds pretty well. What happens if instead we start from the blues lick? Because again, here the first note is the arpeggio, the second note is the blues lick. What happens if we do the opposite? Meaning the first note is the blues lick and then the second note is the arpeggio. I'm gonna get something similar, but different. In this specific incarnation of the lick, we have two situations where the notes repeat, okay? So you may like or not like the repetition, because we have repetition, other repetition. You may like it or not. I like it. But you can always go and then eliminate the repetitions, okay? So whenever there are two notes of the same, you just play one. Pick two licks you normally use. Pick two very simple ideas you normally use, and then alternate between them. One note of the one and one note of the other. Okay? And then you see what happens. And the result is typically surprising. It's not what you expect. You don't try this in your mind. It's not going to happen. You need to have pen and paper. Okay, and write down this lick. You can use any notation you want, tablature, standard notation, literally whatever you want, but write them down because it's not gonna happen. As you've seen, I am applying this idea here with simple licks. But hey, once you get the idea, you can do the same thing with more complex licks, or you can do the same thing with practically anything. You can do this idea with chord progression. Take two chord progressions, have them merge in this strange way, and you can get a new chord progression. And the chord progression can be in the same key or in different keys. Hey, let's go crazy here, okay? So you can put this idea together with everything. But if you put this idea together with a good knowledge of your fretboard and your scales and modes, then you can become an unstoppable lead guitar player. How do you get this knowledge of scales and modes and the fretboard in an intuitive way? Well, I do recommend you have a look at my course, Master of the Modes. Master of the Modes, it's not a book and it will never be a book. It's a complete video course made by guitar players for guitar players that take you from zero to become an expert in using modes and scales. This course is for people who are not afraid to do some exercises. Theory is important, applying theory is more important, so the course is taught through exercises that you have to do, and the more you practice them, the better you become. If you have just a minute, check out Master of the Modes at the link on the top right. If you like these videos, smash on that like button, don't forget to subscribe and click on notification, otherwise YouTube will not let you know when I put up a new video. And if you have any idea, any feedback, any suggestions, please write them down in the comments. I love to read from you. This is Tommaso Zillio of musictheoryforguitar.com, and until next time, enjoy!